Teams representing some of the biggest cities around the world. 72 of the world's most talented poker players with over $350 million in combined lifetime earnings will put everything on the line over 8 months to compete for the title of the first ever GPL World Champions. Which team has what it takes? The Global Poker League starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Global Poker League. I'm Laura Cornelius, joined by the GPL insider, Mr. Eric Danny. We're already into week 2. What a quick week it's been.
Very quick week, Laura. We have amazing matches on set this week, so I can't wait to get to week 2 in the next few minutes.
Indeed, it's all about 6 max action today, as is every single Tuesday. And of course, the heads up is tomorrow and Thursday. So let's take a quick look at what's coming up a little bit later on today. Well, we can talk about it, in fact, can't we? We can talk about what's coming up because we have some great 6 max action. As always, it's the Eurasian matches coming up first. So we've got 12 p.m. Eastern Time, the first one of the Eurasian.
That's right, Laura. We have the debut of #1 overall pick, Mustapha Kanit, and GPI number 6, Dominik Nitsche. That'll be something that we'll all want to see in the first match.
So that's 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, or 6 p.m. Central European time. And then coming up, the second Eurasian Conference match is pretty similar to the first, just a few minor changes.
That's right. It includes Leah, who's won 4 F-Tops championships, 2 W Coups, and Guo Dong, the debut of Guo Dong for Hong Kong.
Yeah, so that one's kicking off at 10:40 a.m. Pacific time, 1:40 p.m. Eastern time, or 7:40 p.m. Central European time. And then coming up a little later, we've got the Americas Conference 6 max.
Some pretty, just an amazing lineup, Laura. Fedor Holtz gets a chance at redemption after a rough first week, and then the debut of the 2010 World Series of Poker champion, Jonathan Duhamel.
And then coming up after that, the second Americas Conference. A few of the same players, but just 2 changes, I think, in this one.
Right, one player that will play both matches is in Brazil, João Pires Chamou. Boy, Brazil is booming. He has just won $167,000 on PokerStars just 2 days ago. All of Brazil, all of Sao Paulo behind João.
Including Neymar Jr.
Yes, of course.
So that final Americas Conference match is at 2:10 Pacific time, 5:10 Eastern time, or 11:10 p.m. Central European time. Those are what's coming up today, and it's going to be an exciting day of 6 max action. And if you want to get in contact with us, of course you can follow us on Twitter at GPL. You can use the hashtag GPL as well. Let's first, though, talk about the exciting news of the week. It only came out, it only broke late last night, didn't it?
That's right. Well worth the wait, Laura. The final announcements of the Los Angeles Sunset, the wildcard picks, Maria Ho deciding to play in the league. No surprise there, an accomplished poker player. She's been around for 10 years now and just has been a solid pro on tour. No WSOP titles yet, but always keeps at it, and just one of the top ranked players at the WSOP each and every year. And then someone named Aaron Paul, who apparently is sort of popular. Aaron Paul, just so that people know, teams had until the end of March to sign their players. This was signed, Aaron had signed on by then. Just a little lawyer talk, right, and stuff like that. So it just took a few more minutes to get everything put together. And we did want to wait at the exact, the best moment to announce this. Week 1 was probably not the best time. So just great to see Aaron Paul in, and really excited to be part of the LA Sunset.
So there's the team lineup now. Now before, it had a big question mark and TBD, and everyone was like, who's it going to be? But we know now. There it is, Maria Ho is the manager. Joining her, of course, Chance Cornuth, who will be playing a little later on today. Eugene Kachelov yet to make his debut yet. Fedor Holtz obviously played last week. Olivier Busquet as well played heads up last week and will do as well this week. And then finally, Mr. Aaron Paul.
For those concerned that Aaron Paul would weaken the team, he doesn't have that much experience, although he does play a lot of the big cash games in Los Angeles, did participate at the World Series poker main event last year. But with that type of lineup, Laura, I think they can easily secure and put him in strategic positions. Training has already started with Mr. Paul, so they're not fooling around.
Him?
But I mean, they're all training him. You'd imagine having the ability to sit with Olivier Busquet, with Chance Cornet, who you just mentioned, one of the hottest players in 2016 so far, with a genius like Fedor Holtz. I think they're in great hands. And I really do think that throughout the year, we'll see in Aaron Paul, what he is now, really improve, and probably one of the most improved players on tour at the end of the year.
I mean, obviously we saw he was around at the WSOP last year. He may have been around the year before, I'm not sure. How good is he? Do we know?
We don't know. We don't know. I think that the big issue is he's not played with competition that he's going to play in the league. The good news for him is that we just mentioned 2, 3, 4 of the best players in the world are on this team. So he won't have to face Olivier Busquet heads up. In fact, he'll learn from him. So we'll have to see how things go. There's a few players that might not have the experience that others have in the league. So it'll be, of course, it's a fun thing to have him on there. But at the same time, I think he's going to take this very seriously. I don't think Aaron Paul is the type of guy to put his name to something and not take it seriously. So it'll be fun to see the evolution.
Well, we had so many tweets about Aaron Paul last night. This was his own tweet. Drafted. I've been drafted by Maria Ho to play with the pros in the GPL. Team LA Sunset, secret weapon, Sportify Poker. It's so weird to have Aaron Paul saying our mottos.
It's also disappointing that this guy just woke up and that's how he looks. That's disappointing to all us men around the world.
Jake Cody, obviously a member of the Las Vegas Moneymakers. He's going to be playing a little later on as well. Sick! Aaron Paul, 8, drafted in the GPL. Just one player. Extremely excited. Very happy to see Aaron Paul join.
Could very well become an adversary down the line, as Las Vegas and LA will play a few more times this year.
Selena Lin, manager of the Hong Kong Stars. That's awesome, Maria Ho. Welcome Aaron Paul to the GPL. Can't wait to see this badass in action on the felt. Hashtag We Sportify Poker. And this one's from Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban, who retweeted the Maria Ho tweet. So that's never a bad thing when someone is rich and powerful and just a great entrepreneur in America. Mark Cuban, very much a superstar. Pretty exciting to have him and his 5 million followers get that in their Twitter box this morning.
And Eugene Kachalov, another member of LA Sunset. Whoa! Aaron Paul joins us in the GPL Sunset. Welcome to the team. Hashtag Team LA Sunset.
We'll see a few of these teammates being excited. Fedor Holtz, who had a funny one as well. But I think in this case, it's I think Aaron Paul is excited to play with world-class players. But these world-class players, like Eugene Kachalov, like Fedor Holtz, Chance Cornet also, who tweeted, I think for them as well, it's kind of a neat thing to be able to play with someone as good as, or someone as amazing as Aaron Paul is.
And then Chance Cornet as well. Welcome to the Aaron Paul, to the GPL Sunset team. I think our team is going to have a great first year. But yeah, I imagine Aaron Paul genuinely excited to really improve his game.
Pretty disappointing for Chance, who was the best looking guy in sunglasses on that team and now might just have lost his #1 ranking given that badass picture we showed of them earlier today.
They might start feeling, a little bit jealous of Aaron Paul in a way, don't you think?
There'll be good competition
with all the
within
attention
the team.
that he's getting. And Fedor Holtz, sup, Aaron Paul. Now that we're kind of besties, want to hang out tomorrow, bitch. Hashtag welcome, hashtag Team LA Sunset at GPL Sunset. Of course, that's from Breaking Bad. You obviously watched it, I imagine.
Yes. The B word being slinged around quite a bit in the last, last 24 hours.
I did it a little bit.
That's right. We're all allowed today.
And Daniel Negreanu, Aaron Paul, Maria Ho, GPL. Good news is you won't have to carry that team. It's stacked.
Sort of what I was saying earlier. Yeah. Daniel is absolutely correct. I mean, when you have Busquets and Cornet and Holtz and Maria Ho, it's a very solid team. Eugene Kachalov, of course, so pretty solid team there.
And finally, one last tweet about Mr. Aaron Paul, I believe, that's coming up. And that's from Willie Elliott. An epic slow roll from Alex Dreyfus. You win at marketing, sir. Welcome to the GPL. Aaron Paul, hashtag bring it bitches. And actually, if you look at the picture, no, that's not Walter White, is it?
It is Alex Dreyfus, Lyon's own Alex Dreyfus. It's very well done. I think I would have eliminated the beard. I think people just overlooked that it actually is a photo of Alex, but those eyes, we see those eyes every day.
We do.
Therefore, we're...
And I like how they've changed it. GPL Poker.
That's right.
Well.
That's right. The B word again.
I have to say, I'm generally very, very excited about Aaron Paul joining us.
It's exciting news, you know.
We will get to meet him in Las Vegas.
And it's sort of fun that he's probably not in the most comfortable of positions, right? He's used to being at the top, and he's not right now. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to it.
Anyway, right, we've got lots in store for you this evening. We're going to probably talk about Aaron Paul a lot as well. But coming up, obviously, we have those 2 Eurasian six-max matches happening, kicking off at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. First of all, though, we're going to show you a little video about the structure and the format and what's to come over the next 8 months here at the GPL.
The Global Poker League consists of 12 worldwide teams, 6 in the Eurasian Conference and 6 in the American Conference. Each team has a total of 6 players, and the manager of that team may choose whoever they like to play at any time, provided each player on their team plays a minimum of 6 matches across the season. The GPL starts the regular season with 8 weeks of online arena action, which consists of 6 max and heads-up matches. Every Tuesday, all 6 teams from each conference will face off in 2 6-max sit-and-goes. 1 team in each conference will play as the home team, while the other 5 are away. Home team managers have the ability to pick their players once they have seen the lineup of the away teams. Points will be awarded to all teams competing except for the 6th place finisher per match. First will get 7 points, second 5 points, third 3 points, fourth 2 points, and 5th will get 1 point. Every Wednesday, each of the 6 Eurasian Conference teams will battle in 3 heads-up games against an opponent from another Eurasian Conference team. And every Thursday, each American Conference team will do the same. For heads-up, 1 team from each matchup will play at home, while the other away. All 3 games will be played, with 3 points awarded per game won and 0 points awarded per game lost, with a total of 9 points available. After the 8 weeks of online arena, live heads-up play will be introduced in the Global Poker League Summer Series in Las Vegas. Teams from GPL's 2 conferences will face off against each other in cross-conference heads-up play in 6 heats across 5 weeks of daily action. Just as in the online arena, during studio heads-up play, they will duel for 3 games, with 9 possible points available per match. After the summer series, the GPL regular season continues, with 6 more weeks of online arena action, after which the 2 teams at the bottom of each conference will be eliminated, and the remaining 8 will advance to the playoffs. The playoffs will see the much-awaited introduction of the Cube, the ultimate poker arena. A 2-day event hosted from an epic venue in North America at the end of September will see 8 teams reduced down to 4 in a completely revolutionary 3v3 format. Finally, the first season of the Global Poker League will conclude its play with the live finals, played from the Cube at the SSE Arena, Wembley, in London, where the champions of each conference will be determined on day 1. And finally, on the grand final on day 2, where the Americas Conference winner will face off against Eurasia's best to determine who will be crowned the Global Poker League champions.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Poker League. I'm Griffin Benger, this is Sam Grafton, this is week 2, Aaron Paul's in the GPL, and we got a lot of great matches today.
Yeah, super exciting. Some of the fair weather fans might be excited about the GPL because of Aaron Paul, but we got Bryan, Huang, and Vladimir Troyanovskiy, and for a hardcore fan like me, that's really what gets me excited.
Yeah, Mustapha Kanit, the first overall selection. He's going to be in the first matchup here. A lot of people talk about this guy. He's quite a character. Might have him on webcam today too, being a little goofy, so expect that. And it's a great lineup. But first, let's go over to some replays from Thursday. A lot of great action in that on that day.
Yeah, exciting day overall. We started off with Busquet and Darren Elias, one of the top tournament players over the last few years, versus a heads-up specialist, Olivier Busquet, perhaps a slight favourite going into the match. And it didn't disappoint. Olivier giving us great insight into all his thoughts as the match went on. And that was one of the real innovations of the first week. We introduced those web cameras, and a lot of the guys really responded to that. Olivier included, obviously, the antics of Jungleman on the first day, which really got the poker world talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this heads-up format especially, you know, really being able to hear their thought process. This was a hand here, for example, where Darren Elias was put in a jail and made a big fold. A lot of great matches. You know, Darren a little outmatched maybe in the first two matches, but really kept his strategy, you know, in check. Third match, able to get a great win with a nice call on the river, and, you know, that was a really fun match to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Olivier, I think, put out a pretty magnanimous tweet after the match and said that how well he ran, and really with the cards he was dealt, it was hard for him not to win at least two out of the three matches. So, you know, when things don't run your way and you're up against an opponent as good as Olivier Busquet, you're in a real tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that's what separates the, you know, the men from the boys or what have you, is that, you know, the guys that really just, you know, they realize that when they beat someone as a caliber in heads-up format, like Darren Elias, it's because they're running well and probably that they're playing well, but to get 2 of 3 from a guy like Darren, you know, it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, really exciting game, and we really enjoyed it here. I think people did at home. We're going to be seeing more from those two later on in the season.
Second matchup, we had Martin Jakobsen from Sweden representing the Montreal Nationals, and of course Anton Wigg, also residing from Sweden, and a very great match here by the two
Yeah,
Swedes.
and if you remember, it went off completely flawlessly from a technical perspective as well here at the GPL. Completely organised, no problems backstage.
What up now, Swedes?
Yeah, so these two good friends, and again, contrasting styles in terms of the webcam. Martin with a more quieter approach, didn't really talk that much. Anton, you know, really showing his personality, giving us strategic insights into his thought process. And I'm sure he's super pleased. He won 2 out of the 3 games against Martin, almost swept the board, and he'll have bragging rights over his good friend.
Yeah, and one of the things that was so great too, and a lot of you people are realizing here at the GPL, is that you really get an insight into, you know, a little bit about these lives, just a little snippet. And you see in the background there with the, you know, the punching bag man and all that sort of thing. It really reflects on, you know, who these people are, whether it's the artwork of someone like Justin Bonomo in the background or Darren Elias. You know, or just Anthony Zinno looking like he's in his parents' bedroom. You know, it really gives you an insight into like the kind of characters that are in the Global Poker League, and that's one of my favorite parts about it.
Yeah, and hopefully as the season progresses, we're going to get to know these characters more and more. They're going to be more comfortable in front of the web camera and give us more insights into their personality. And perhaps also we're going to learn a little bit about the lifestyles and backgrounds of these amazing high-caliber poker players. Obviously, that's one of the goals of the GPL, to turn, you know, to turn these poker players into stars.
And a great moment there, too, at the end of the match. A high five from the manager. Let's move on, though, into the third match of that day. And what a match it was between Tom Marchese and Anthony Zinno.
Yeah, 2 completely contrasting styles. And that was what was really exciting about this match. Anthony Zinno taking a very exploitative field player approach. Marchese, a more solid theoretical approach. And it was great to see these two clash. And wonderful that Anthony Zinno shared so much with us. Here you can see Tom Marchese running good with the double gut shot after Anthony Zinno, he checked back this flop, slow played it, but Marchese outdrew him on the river, and this is what gave Marchese the win in, I believe that was the first match.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting hands in this matchup. I think we all remember the one that is going to be talked about in the Global Poker League, I think for a long time, as it happened just in that first week. You know, Tom Marchese, the cheese, representing the New York Rounders, showing why he's one of the best high rollers in the world, and I think we're going to be seeing that hand come up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think what was great, well, this was an all-in confrontation. I think Marchese got lucky here. Obviously, this is how close these matches are. Marchese won 2 matches to 1, but it came down to, you know, he needed an outdraw in the second match to make that, to get that win. You're going to see very fine margins in these heads-up matches when you've got great competitors. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, the most exciting hand, for me, one of the highlights of the week was that epic tank from Tom Marchese. We'll be seeing it in a minute. Marchese betting just a quarter pot on the river with 3 deuce for bottom pair, and he told us told us he was going to do that. Tanked for 4 minutes. I think what was great is we showed that being a theory-based high roller is not inimical to also a bit of showmanship, showing a little bit of flair, playing up to the cameras. Marchese giving the fans at home a real treat. Zeno here with second pair, made the fold, and then Marchese showed the bluff and celebrated. And that was a great moment to see, because Tom was quiet throughout the match, but that didn't mean he couldn't give us one of the most memorable moments of that entire first week.
Yeah, it was such a fun match to watch. I mean, everyone, I've heard such good things about Anthony Zeno as a person and as a character, and how sweet of a guy he is. And I think that really shone through in the coverage. The way that he was, interacting with the fans and talking to them, and it was just a really fun thing to watch. But let's look at the Americas Conference right now. The New York Rounders are in first with those 16 points, and great start for Bryn Kenny and his team. And the Americas Conference is a really exciting division in this league.
Yeah, of course. That was another highlight of the first week. Jason Wheeler coming into that All-Star match as a fourth-round draft pick.
JD's World.
Hashtag JD's World if you're on Twitter. And he put in a fantastic performance and secured those 7 points for the New York Rounders.
So let's head to the lounge and talk to Laura Cornelius and Eric Danny about the standings so far in the Global Poker League.
Thanks, boys. As they said, those first games are coming very shortly, 12 p.m. Eastern time, in just around 10 minutes or so. So yes, the standings, well, the boys already talked about how the New York Rounders are the top of the Americas Conference, but at the top of the Eurasian Conference, Selena Lin's Hong Kong Stars doing very nicely.
That's right, the Stars shining bright out of Hong Kong, first place or first position after 1 week of play. A lot of anger coming out of Hong Kong. They feel like they were sold short quite a bit, and they're really excited by those scores. Raiden Khan is something we need to mention. Eliminated every single one of his players single-handedly. He leads the league early on in knockouts, so great on him to do that. Randy Liu, who had a triple win, the only player to sweep.
One, yeah.
That's right. He is back in action and heads up action tomorrow. That's not a coincidence. So Hong Kong riding high in first place. Speaking of riding high, the Aviators are in the sky with 16 points. A good week for Paris. Elke with a grudge match, or a big fight against Jungleman.
The rivalry is building between Elke and Jungleman after last week.
We joke about it, but there is absolutely a rivalry building between the two. Jungle taking the position of, whatever. Whereas Elke is really passionate about it and really is excited about winning that first match. Who knows? They play again in May. Maybe we'll get to see a Paris-Berlin Elke versus Jungle rematch. London, who was a preseason favorite by most, or by many, to win the EurAsia Conference, sits third with 12 points, still very early in the season. Justin Bonomo right back at it today after winning his heads-up match last week against Timothy Adams.
That was two against, he won two matches.
Yeah, against the Rome Emperors. Rome, who sits at 9 points, Moscow at 5, and Berlin Bears at 3 points. A lot of pressure on Dominik Nitsche in the next few days.
Yeah, indeed, because Daniel Cates wasn't able to fare so well last week in the sixth match.
Right.
0 points.
Yet still played very, very admirably. A few bad.
I didn't say he didn't, Eric.
No. You were telling me earlier that you were very disappointed with his play.
So indeed, we'll be looking to see what Dominik Nitsche can do. I'm interested to watch Dominik. He's normally very quite serious guy and knows his poker game well. Yeah,
as someone who's been around for so long, his first ever tournament win, his first cash was a win at LAPT in Argentina. He was 18 years old then. He's only 25, but it feels like he's been around for years and years and years.
He's won a lot, yeah. Okay, top of the Americas Conference then, New York Rounders. In fact, before the heads-up matches, it came, New York Rounders were equal, weren't they, with the moneymakers, but now 3 points separates them.
That's right. New York coming off a great performance, as our guys mentioned, from Jason Wheeler. Sits in first position, 16 points. Las Vegas, the great Anthony Zeno without a single win, yet scrapes out 13 points for the team. Basically, a sweep of second position finishes all week for the great Zeno. So good job on him, the WPT Player of the Year. Did Las Vegas proud. The Montreal Nationals are right back there. Montreal, unfortunately, Martin Jacobson only winning one of his 3 matches against Anton Wig. Had that been the case, had it been reversed, they would have been in second, but they sit in third. The LA Sunset and the brand new acquisitions.
Oh, yes.
Fourth place right now with 9 points. Chance Kornuth will make his debut today. And Fedor Holtz really upset at the way things went last week, so it'll be interesting to see Fedor in that first match just come out guns blazing.
Also interesting that Fedor played both matches last last week, and now Maria's decided to change it up. She's decided to bring Chance in for the second game.
I have a feeling that Maria would have wanted the player this week to play twice, probably Chance, but I think Fedor actually convinced her that he wanted redemption at least once. And then we round out with Sao Paulo, a big match by Mr. Pires, upcoming today, who we just mentioned won a boatload of money on Sunday. Congratulations to him. And San Francisco Rush finally on the board. Anton Wig with a very solid performance against a fellow countryman, Martin Jakobsen. So 6 points now for the Rush, who entered heads-up play last week with 0 points. So in good shape right now.
It was Tony Greig indeed that played last week in the sixth
right.
match. Obviously a phenomenal player, but not able to score any points like Daniel Cates.
No, that's right. And you're in a position where you need to go all in at some point, and he did both times and wasn't able to make that hand win. So yeah, Mr. Greig with 0 points. Quite a fascinating and shocking turn of events.
Any players today that are playing that you think, yeah, they're going to easily do that?
Probably not easily. I'm more intrigued about a few players. I think Vladimir Troyanovskiy is very intriguing, just a quiet man. It'll be fun to see him and how he plays. I think both Hong Kong players, Bryan Huang and Guodong, I think there's pressure on both of them. Their team has played so well. They want to remain first, so it'll be interesting to see how they play that out. I think Chance Kornuth, who's been so hot this year in 2016, it'll be fun to see. The debut of Jonathan Duhamel later on today. Speaking of Canadians, Mike Leah, 151 results on tour. He's been around for about 10 years now, so he puts a lot of pressure on himself, so it'll be fun to see that matchup.
Go Leafs go, eh?
The Go Leafs go, eh? That would be Mike.
Right, we're going to head back to the desk now for a little bit of match analysis before it all kicks off.
Thanks, Laura. This is the Global Poker League. I'm Griffin Benger, joined by my co-host, Samuel Grafton. This is week 2, and this match, dude, there are so many good poker players in this match. It's like I thought the lineup from the first match last week was good. We have Mustapha Kanit in this thing. We have Vladimir Troyanovskiy. We have Mike Leah, one of my personal favorite players. This line, Dominik Nitsche. Like, are you kidding me? This is just like unbelievable for poker.
Yeah, and I think one of the things it shows this lineup is the strength and depth of the Global Poker League. Bonomo went as a 4th round draft pick, as did Mike Leah.
Bonomo's in this one too.
Players with incredible caliber, and Dominik Nitsche, an absolute steal as a 3rd round draft pick. So what we're seeing is it's not just about those 1st round drafts. They might be superstars, but players going in 3rd and 4th round have incredible results just as much.
Yeah, so let's look a bit at the lineup here. We do have Mustapha Kanit, the 1st overall selection. He is going to become an absolute favorite on the tour here at the Global Poker League. Dominik Nitsche, so much success, so many titles. And the Heisenberg of the GPL, Mike Leah. He is an unbelievable, fantastic player representing Canada, someone that just crushes the live tournament circuit, has so many wins online. Vladimir Troyanovskiy, one of my favorite players. Bryan Huang is kind of a bit of the wild card here in this lineup. Not a lot of people familiar with the play styles, of the APPT Macau reg. So it's, people familiar with Bonomo. I'm just so excited I can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, real great players, as you say. Obviously, we've already had a glimpse of Justin Bonomo. He gave us an insight using the web camera into that analytic mind. Part of that preeminent generation of online players coming out of Siva, Haxton, Bonomo. You think of those 3 as a grouping, and it's going to be fantastic to see him in action again.
Yeah, and there's just such great, contrasting personalities. You look at Justin Bonomo, everyone became familiar with him in his heads-up match. In my opinion, the most impressive skill-wise so far in the Global Poker League as far as how well he's played in that heads-up match against Tim Adams. And then Mustapha Kanit, again, I think he's going to be one of the biggest characters on the tour. Anyone who knows him, it's just a no-brainer. He's unbelievable. But let's go to the lounge, and we have a quick interview, it looks like, with the manager of the Hong Kong Stars, Selena Lin.
Well, hopefully we're going to chat to one of our managers or one of our players very shortly through Skype. We hope to get a few insights or opinions from them before the match kicks off, but not long now, Eric, until it happens.
Moments away. We're moments away from game time.
Okay. Let's see if we have Selena on the line. Have we got... Oh, there she is. Hello, Selena Lin, manager of the Hong Kong Stars.
Hello, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. We wanted to speak to you, Selena, because obviously you are top of the Eurasian Conference right now. And how are you feeling about how all of the matches went last week?
I'm actually really proud of my guys. I think they did great. I know that Wei Yi started off very nervous He was living off his game. He told me, was telling me how he felt so much pressure going into it. And I calmed him down, said, no, don't worry, it's fine. But, and as you guys know, that Raiden and Randy Liu both performed absolutely awesome. Couldn't have, imagined better for my guys.
Selena, you sent out a tweet last week. There was a lot of emotion in that tweet, almost with a chip on your shoulder. Not many people believe in the Hong Kong Stars, but sitting first after a week must feel great.
It really does, because I think that I read a lot of the post-draft analysis, and we were ranked as the underdog. And for me, I was like, I know my guys can play. I need to prove to the rest of the world that my guys can play, and GPL was able to demonstrate that. And, for us, it's really like we don't have that expectations as much as the other teams do. So for me, being able to see my team so passionate about the game and now being ranked top of the EurAsia leaderboard, there's nothing more I could be more proud of.
Selena Lin, thank you so much for chatting with us, manager of the Hong Kong Stars there. Good luck today as well. Obviously, got Bryan Huang playing first up in just a matter of moments. And then we've got Guo Dong playing for that second Eurasian Conference match, which is coming up at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time too. We're going to throw straight to the desk now and start the match.
Thanks a lot, Laura. Unbelievable lineup. Bryan Huang, it's kind of obviously, is going to be the underdog in a lot of these matches simply because we're unfamiliar with what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the perception from us coming from a more European, North American-based background. But I guess one of the things is Selena Lin's been able to draw on all this talent from the APPT. No one contested her picks, really. And she obviously has an insight into the Asian Poker Tour, the best players there. And maybe she's drawing on a pool of talent that we don't know about. And she's going to, she's obviously confident there that she's going to put results on the board. Something of a surprise from the first week. But let's hope it continues. The Hong Kong Stars really throwing this league wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. But such an incredible lineup to be up against. I mean, it's one of those things almost when once we see the lineup, we're just like, wow, this is unbelievable. But it's pretty much been every six-max lineup. There's just going to be so many talented players. And, of course, it might seem like it's going to be something that he needs to overcome, but like Selena said, she knows these players better than anyone, and she has confidence in them. And that was really proven last week. Raiden Khan taking that second match. The incredible showing from Randy Liu. There's a reason they're on top of the EurAsia division, and it's because Selena Lin knows exactly what she's going to do. And one thing that she did here, I will say, she's deciding once again to switch up the players going into the second match. Not something that many other managers decide to do. Just live in that first match, switching up more men, coming in for Igor Kurganov. But the reason that I like this strategy, Sam, is because these other players are so talented that it's, they don't want them to, she doesn't want them to start like noticing the patterns of these players. She wants to keep it unpredictable. She wants to throw a different player in the ring. And of course, they're going to be watching, the rest of them the whole time. So let's get this thing started.
So exciting stuff. One of the players we haven't talked about, of course, Vladimir Troyanovskiy. Vov Troy online, saw him playing over the weekend, someone that mixes up both playing online at lower and mid stakes, higher mid stakes, as well as playing those huge super high rollers. Mike Lee getting into the action early on, and a C-bet will get the job done for him. And yeah, quite an intimidating lineup. If I had to put you on the spot, Griffin, and you had to pick a winner right now, who would you be? Mustapha Kanit. We should remind people.
Or Heisenberg. It's pretty close between Mike Lee and Mustapha Kanit, to be honest with you.
We should remind people who didn't follow the draft. Do check it out. It's available on YouTube if you do want to follow it. Mustapha Kanit went number 1 overall in the draft. Max Pescatori winning the draw to have the first round draft pick. Mustapha Kanit won out of all the players that made themselves eligible. Quite a lot of pressure on him. All eyes will be on his performance today. And if you're new to poker, it might seem a little unorthodox, Justin's ace high call on the flop. But that is going to be ace high is going to be good about, again, some percentage of the hands Vladimir bets on the flop. Some players continuation bet 70, 80, even 100% of their hands on this kind of board. And now he has the option of turning that ace high into a bluff here against Vladimir Troyanovskiy. On this run out, a7, very low in Justin's range. Normally he's going to arrive at the river with some kind of pair. And you can see Vladimir is actually, I mean, he might even be thinking about raising with the ace of spades.
Blocker, of course, yeah.
And he makes the call.
Wow. Unbelievable. Great call there from Vlad.
And this is what's great. I mean, I've got to say, we're seeing the high-level poker play that we can expect. This isn't your regular game of poker here at the GPL. I mean, am I right, Griff?
Absolutely. I mean, like, you know, you asked me who
And Justin with 2 6s in the small blind. A little bit awkward to play. So let's talk a little bit about Dominik Nitsche. Coming into today's game, the Berlin Bears, of course, rock bottom of the league. But what a player to be able to introduce when you're struggling and in need of points. Dominik Nitsche seems to, I think as Eric Denis said, seems to have been around forever. He's only 25, but he's got such authority on the tour. You know, a AAA ambassador, treble bracelet winner. He's got LAPT as win as well. Plays the high rollers and super high rollers. A lot of pressure on those young shoulders. You know, being an ambassador, playing such high buy-ins. But everything Dominik Nitsche seems to take on, he handles with massive aplomb.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear his analysis on every hand. You know, 6 max is obviously a lot different than the normal format that we had heads up. So yeah, good start here for Vladimir Troyanovskiy. You know, the crazy thing about this lineup is that, you know, you asked me who I think is going to win, and right away I'm thinking Mustapha Kanit. I'm thinking Leah. These are 2 of my top 10 absolute best MTT players in my head. And then the first hand we see Vladimir Troyanovskiy, someone we haven't even really spoken about yet, makes an amazing ace high call.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in general, the players that went early round draft picks and make up these teams are players in their like late 20s, early 30s, players that came to prominence at the height of the poker boom. But Vladimir Troyanovskiy showing age is no barrier to success. A little older, a bit of an elder statesman amongst the Russian players, but he absolutely loves the game. I mean, one of the things that I think is impressive is these players like Vladimir Troyanovskiy that play 100Ks and 50Ks, and yet you could still find them regging the Sunday Million and the warm-up on PokerStars on a Sunday. This raise isn't going to go uncontested. You can see Leah with a strong hand on the button elects just to flat with the ace-king. Slightly unorthodox, I would say, but it's exciting to see the different ways, different approaches these great players take to playing their ranges. apologies to Dominik and Justin if I was talking a bit over them a little bit in those early levels. We didn't have we didn't have the webcams up, and I couldn't hear when they were speaking. We will try and stay out the way when the players are communicating with you. Obviously, you want to hear from them more than you want to hear from us. So apologies for that in those early levels.
Interesting hand here between Bryan Huang and Mike Leah. Obviously, Huang best with the King Jack here. Mike Leah continuation betting, on this on this flop three ways. Usually has the best hand, has the backdoor diamonds, but he should find a fold here a fair bit. However, Bryan certainly has some missed flush draws in his range here, so it'll be interesting to see if Mike Leah decides to make the hero call, putting him on something like Queen Jack of Diamonds, Queen 10 of Diamonds. But I feel like those hands probably bet the turn a lot, so Mike Leah knows that Bryan has something like King Queen, King Jack, King 10 suited, and that's why he likes to fold here. A lot of playable hands here in this hand right now.
Wonder if this is the first time we're going to see
Against the min
Lasagna
racer,
Man
we
in
can
action.
certainly call it.
Lasagna,
Assuming Mustapha doesn't do anything. Which you know is Mustapha, so you might just do something. But really, if you do something, you just get a fold. Yeah. Gotta play tight in this format, which is the really annoying part. But we're here to win points. We're not here to play for the win. Points are important. And I have a feeling some of these guys, they're not gonna do that very much. They're gonna try and win. I'll just try and get some points.
Here developing between Mike Leah and Mustapha Kanit. Mustapha Kanit electing to 3-bet the button with King Jack offsuit. Great board for texture for his hand. Mike Leah electing to call out of position with the ace-10. He is ahead at this point, but certainly a hard hand for him to win here, given all the equity Mustapha has. And you know, it's really
interesting spot because both of these players like to play a lot of hands in these spots, like a lot more than average. So I think they both have a lot of hands. And yeah. Typically, this should be a really great bot for Musta, so I'm not surprised to see him like continue here with a second bet. Mike is most likely going to have a hand such as Ace Jack. Yeah. It's really hard for him to continue because he doesn't have too many diamonds. Like, he doesn't have the Jack of Diamonds very often, so. If Musta was bluffing there, that was pretty well done. I don't know, probably wasn't though. They probably both had pretty good hands. It's hard for Musta to have a bluff there.
And Mustapha picked those two blockers to 3-bet, and now he has a very, very premium hand in Ace-King. And this is the challenge of playing against someone like Mustapha Kanit. You really suspect he's at it. And then you see a different strategy from Bryan Huang. Mike Lee opened under the gun and did defend the ace-10 off. There, Bryan Huang folding a slightly stronger hand. And I don't mind that strategy this early in the match and against someone as strong as Mustapha Kanit. Going to be at least a call from Vladimir Troyanovskiy, but very confident to 3-bet a hand like this for value. Only becomes difficult to play if you get 4-bet. And you can see the advantages of this kind of linear 3-bet strategy where you 3-betting sort of the top 18% of hands out of the big blinds. Justin Bonomo actually defended with a hand that Vladimir Troyanovskiy had absolutely dominated. It just means you need a lot of confidence to know where you are with a slightly more mediocre hand like ace-9 suited. But Vladimir Troyanovskiy showing the confidence he has in his own game, not afraid of reputation. He plays high rollers against these kind of caliber of player, and impressive start from Vladimir Troyanovskiy. And one of the guys is listening to my. He has the option of turning that ace line into a bluff. Someone's going to tell him to turn it off. Yeah, I think that was Dom. Probably doing what you're all doing at home and muting my commentary. Once again, I apologise for talking over the players a little bit in the early levels of this match. We had a few technical difficulties in hearing the players here in the commentary booth. In general, the strategy going forward in the GPL is we've got these great poker minds for you. We've got webcams on them. We're going to let them talk and inform you of their thought processes. And me and Griffin are going to be just coming in between. And Vladimir Troyanovskiy jumping for joy with 2 aces. Would seem that the players are going to fold behind him, but like, you can't take anything for granted in these games. You might have expected a KG start when all but one player are making their GPL debut, but these guys obviously experienced professionals, and they've come out really firing. We've seen a lot of 3 bets, floats, continuation bets, and the like. No one holding anything back in these early levels.
A great beard from Dominik Nitsche. He's really growing that thing in. Looks great. Bonomo looks exactly the same as he did last week.
Studious.
Very studious. I was kind of hoping he would just like get new hair color every single week, just really throw us off. But
they're not paying him enough for that.
No, not nearly enough.
Yeah, and it's weird to think of it because obviously Justin's a young man himself, but this is sort of old guard and new guard, yeah? Justin Bonomo, when I first started the game 10 years ago, first became a Foco fan, he was one of the big up-and-coming names then. Now Mustapha Kanit is the hottest new player in town. It's going to be interesting to see these guys taking each other on.
Not even surprised Mike Leah calls. He always calls me. Well, it's very hard for him to have a deuce. And if he doesn't have a deuce, he's most likely winning. So we're just going to bet around over the pot. 2 5s. Bit of a bet sizing to help. I'm just going to check it. Play the shoulder. And he checks and we beat all his ace high hands, so which is kind of a hope he has. We're kind of unfortunate if he has a 6. But no need to bluff here with our 5s.
And Dominik is going to take that hand down with pocket 5s. Yeah, I mean, everything pretty much what you would expect there. Obviously, Dom's opening range on the button, you know, is as bad as...
Musta's playing tight today.
Big
I didn't even
hand
get to 3-bet him once. All right. Gonna open raise here.
Bit of a cooler here pre-flop between Nitsche and Bonomo. Do you imagine that he's going to be getting in
The plan
these
was
60
to
big
4-bet,
blinds?
whatever happens against pretty much everyone.
I think he will just flat the
So,
4-bet, but we'll see.
And that goes back to the value
Yeah,
hand thing that he was
Justin
doing
3-bet here on
in the
the
heads
bottom.
up.
The only question is how much should we make it? Ace King is a really, really strong hand here. So my guess is going to be right around 4,000 should be the trick.
Bonomo, the expression, not thrilled with this turn of events here, being 4-bet, being faced with the ace-queen decision. He certainly doesn't want to be the first to bust.
And we get called by Justin.
Ow. Some life.
A bit of an annoying board here with the queen high.
He has no idea how annoying.
Nonetheless, I think we got a c-bet. And I think we're going to c-bet around a third of the pot. So like 28, 50 should just... And maybe I want to go close at 40%. Yeah, I like this. I like this better.
Apologies to Dominik and Justin if I was talking a bit over them a little bit. That's early levels. You did have...
The problem is here, his 4-betting range contains... his 4-bet calling range, he does have quite a lot of queens, so that's annoying. But at the same time, though, with 4-bets, like, our range is like super strong, and he has like plenty of weaker hands he has to give up. So I just bet small here, and well, that's unfortunate, but let's get a fold here.
Correct analysis there from Dominik Nitsche.
Off to a pretty bad start.
You know, he's right. Justin Bonomo does have a lot of queens in his range, more along the lines of something like, you know, king queen suited. You know, ace queen, but of course with the ace blocker that Dominik has, that's a bit less likely. So an unfortunate board for him, but nothing he could really have done there. Just unlucky, and you know, he's lost about 10,000 off his stack so far at this 2-4 level.
Yeah, and that's one of the tough things about playing against a player of Justin Bonomo's caliber. A few years ago, it was very unconventional to see someone 3-bet and then peel a 4-bet. Justin Bonomo taking these linear ranges, and because he's 3-betting a wide range of value hands, he can peel 4-bets as well.
What do you think about this 3-bet here from Bryan Huang? What do you think of this hand selection? Do you prefer a flat here? It's more standard, obviously.
I mean, very unconventional, but Bryan Huang, obviously been around a long time. It's going to be interesting to see whether the Hong Kong stars do have a different style and strategy. Same also, of course, with the Russian team. These guys know each other well. They're coming from a different poker tour, a different poker background, if you like. And perhaps that's a bit more standard. Like, I view it as unconventional, but it'll be interesting to see how his strategies work out.
I mean, let's be honest. Maybe he was just trying to get it in and put him on like Jack 8, you know what I mean? Like Leah with the open here with the ace-king at the cutoff. Vladimir Troyanovskiy opting to flat with the 4-5 suited. Now, he's a player I've played a lot with on the European Poker Tour, and he's someone who really trusts his instincts and really likes to see a lot of flops, especially in position, no matter who the player is. So you'll see a lot of that sort of tendency from Vladimir Troyanovskiy. I think he's the kind of secret weapon of this lineup. You know, one of the secret weapons of the Moscow Wolverines.
Yeah, Vovtroy, if you play online regularly, you will have come across him. Absolutely loves the game, and a very, very tough opponent online and live. Incredible pedigree. We should point out. Obviously, there's certain, when you get that photo with the trophy or whatever, that maybe gets more publicity. But he has some second places, thirds in EPT Barcelona High Roller. His biggest score, 792K in the PCA High Roller. I mean, that's massive.
Yeah, this is a player that has almost $4.2 million in career earnings. He's already earned almost $250,000 in this year alone, and that's really something to look forward to. We have an interesting spot here with Leah, Troyanovskiy, and Kanit. Kanit does have the best hand. Very unlikely that he's not going to be winning this hand. Does he ever call a bet here? Does he ever bluff here, Vladimir?
Well, I think that when Kanit calls third and doesn't bet the river, he's pretty. Like, his hand is clearly beating 4-5.
Yeah.
So Vladimir knows he can't win, but when it checks through, I mean, that's even with these high-level players. When hands go 3-way to the turn, people do tend to play a little bit face-up.
Mustapha with the ace-9 in the small blind here will obviously be wanting to tango with Nitsche. I would expect a peel here from Dom.
Yeah.
We're just going to lay this down here.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah,
you know, make a case for 3-betting. But...
Yeah, it really goes to show, when I say expect appeal, this is something, we were watching so many heads-up matches last week and min raises of like 100%. When you're raising from the small blind, your range is pretty strong. Like, whereas in the heads-up matches we saw appealing with hands like 5-3 suited, maybe 2-5 suited, it's because it's a min raise. But in this case, if Mustapha's willing to 2.5 exit from the small blind, he's probably pretty strong, and I think 2-5 suited is probably the worst, the worst hand that like he might think about calling with. Whereas 4-5 suited, he'll see a flop, and of course he's talking about how he was considering 3-betting, but it's tough without blockers in that spot.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised because Dom obviously has position, whereas when you're peeling heads up, you're going to be out of position. But Dominik Nitsche probably knows best. He's certainly got more experience playing against players of the caliber of Mustapha Kanit than I do. So I'm learning things from watching this broadcast as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Dominik Nitsche and the pedigree that he brings to the Berlin Bears. Although we are going to have a big hand here. Bonomo obviously going to be probably 3-betting with the ace-queen off, but definitely could consider peeling.
Yeah, he's definitely going to 3-bet. The question is, what's Mustapha Kanit's strategy in this spot?
And a disciplined fold there by the Italian superstar.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it goes to show that even superstar players on huge heaters like Mustapha Kanit, you know, they don't try and outplay people in every single spot. And that's something that if you're new to poker, you could take away. No ego involved in this decision making. Is that right, Griff?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you look at the pedigree of someone like Dominik Nitsche, for instance, you know, I think he's someone that we've underrepresented a little bit because we want to talk about the first overall pick. We want to talk about, you know, the stoic, talented European poker tour, you know, mainstay Vladimir Troyanovskiy.
We're switching to min raise now that we're less than 40 big blinds deep.
And I want to talk about the Canadian Mike Leah. But Nitsche just has an incredible...
Mike's going to get involved here.
Yeah, for sure.
With a dominating hand.
Ding, ding, ding.
I caught by Mike Leah on the button, who, as we all know, likes to play more hands than the average. So I'm going to start this all with a check.
Really like this line here by Dominik. And not the standard by you know, by a lot of people's standards, but...
And flush. And I'm thinking we got to bet pretty big here. We got to bet pretty big here twice.
Yeah, nothing Mike could do with this particular holding. And lucky for him, he didn't catch a piece of the board on the turn.
Yeah, and you know, I think the reason why Dominik bets so big there on the turn is because he knows that Mike has a lot of hands like, you know, king, queen off that might have a heart and that he can get full value from. You know, since he checks back the flop in that situation, he knows that he often has a lot of Broadway combos after flatting pre-flop, so he wants the max amount of value, and that's the reason why he bets close to pot, because he's like, okay, I have a flush. I know I'm beating you. Give me a little chips if you want to see a river. And Mike Leah, of course, did not have a heart, but probably would have paid him off there with, you know, a king, queen, king of hearts. Obviously with the ace of hearts if he had something like ace 10 or what have you. So yeah, good bet sizing by Dominik there, and really came to play so far after you know, getting really unlucky against Bonomo with that ace king.
Yeah, for sure. So if you just joined us, you are watching the Global Poker League. This is week 2, the first 6-max match of the day in the EurAsia Conference. We're going to see most of these guys.
EurAsia Confidence against the American Egos.
Sounds like a EurAsia Confidence. Sounds like a Coen Brothers pick. And you see Mike Leah of the Paris Aviators raising under the gun.
Starring Javier Bardem.
And we've got a real exciting lineup for you today. Some real stars of the game. Currently in this conference, it is the Hong Kong Stars leading the way. Bryan, Huang representing them today, trying to put points on the board to consolidate that position. Actually did travel to play an APPT once and met Bryan Huang.
No way.
Massive legend, by the way.
I thought you were about to say massive whale. Like,
just took everyone out. Was like,
really?
Yeah, I'm representing Stars in the Asian market. Like, I'm pretty sure that he didn't know Korea or Seoul, but just like put it out. Got everyone together, took them to a restaurant. Beautiful.
That's something you have in common. You both represented the Stars. Poker Stars, Hong Kong Stars, right? That was the joke?
No.
You were representing Stars, you said.
No, I was. Oh. He was representing Stars.
I thought you meant that you went there to represent Poker Stars. I was like, geez,
no.
Sam, you're a
Mate,
big
they
deal.
wouldn't trust me. I can't believe Dreyfus is letting me represent the GPL. Like, they wouldn't trust me with a company that was actually making money.
So let's look at the chip stacks here. Obviously, a good start for Justin Bonomo. Really, in my opinion, so far the most valuable player of the GPL early on. Obviously, you know, we're not going to talk about MVP races this early, but the way he played in that first match, he didn't only win 2 of 3, but you know, the quality of play.
Very favorable board for our range and hand, so just bet really small. And then we're going to bet bigger on the turn. And then we'll see what happens. The deuce is a great card. Because it doesn't give him any more two-pair combinations. Gonna bet.
We seem to have lost Dominik there momentarily. I'm saying that with confidence.
We can still hear him though. He's still in our heads. Dominik, he's always in my head.
And again, Dominik picking up a hand that's going to be in his opening range. And this is nice to see Dominik picking up a few pots and padding his stack back, like the long climb back towards starting stack.
Ace-6 suited for Mike Leah here.
Be interesting whether Troyanovskiy chooses this to 3-bet or elects to flat. Yes, he does 3-bet.
Happy to get in the 30 big blinds in this this spot, or do you think he ever sort of finds a big fold?
Yeah, I don't think he's calling versus a jam. I don't think it would be good, particularly the way Mike Leah plays. Likes to go to a flop. I think if he 4-bets, he's going to have ace-jack beat. I could be wrong about that, of course. I don't have too much insight into Bob Troy's strategies here.
Yeah, I think the only hand that Troyanovskiy would ever really, beat here on a shove by Leah would be something like king-queen suited. Be flipping against pairs. Whether Leah would shove, any pair really up to, up to tens, and then I guess we'd probably 4-bet get in anything bigger than that.
Bryan Huang with a Lucius.
That's a pretty much open. Great hand to 3-bet here.
Because I know he has
Everyone's
6-9 of clubs,
hands, so
and I'm dominating him.
3-bet is up.
And a quick fold from Huang.
That fold makes me think you just had nothing.
And correct analysis once again. Guys, if you want to follow the conversation about what you're watching, if you're just joining us here for the first time, we're the Global Poker League. This is the second week and the first day. And follow us at GPL if you want to check out standings, videos, interviews. Go to www.globalpokerleague.com, and that's where you'll find a bunch of replays. We're doing this 3 days a week, every week for the next 8 weeks.
Oh my God!
So
really?
8
weeks.
The whole thing.
Here?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh
Yeah, I can't even stand you. But you got growing pains.
Again, as we saw last week, great that Dominik's giving us so much insight into his thought process, taking advantage of the webcam. Really lucky to have someone with his level of knowledge about the game, giving us insight. A guy of real authority within the poker community, almost like he's got a lot of eminence, for someone so young.
If this was a winner-takes-all tournament, you could definitely consider 3-betting, but point structure dictates we play tight, so we call. Calling's always fine. So.
This is going to be a really difficult spot for Dominik Nitsche here when Mike Leah shoves or squeezes. Do you think Nitsche sort of has the top of his range that he's willing to fold in a spot like this?
It's so close.
It's so close, yeah. I think 9s is a side call, 8s is a...
Mike. That's a very interesting spot.
I think one thing that helps is Bryan's got quite a tight range opening under the gun. But we'll let Dominik talk through his process.
See, like if this was like a winner takes all tournament, I would have called by now. But this point structure just like flipping is such a bad result, and I think Mike would not shove all pairs, which I need here for him to make that call, given the structure. That being said, though, I definitely called 9, so now I'm in a tough spot. I kind of think this has.
Very disciplined fold by Dominik Nitsche, and really shows you why he's won so many tournaments around the world. Whether it's WPT Johannesburg, the WSOP National Championship in May 2014. He's 3 WSOP bracelet and 3rd WSOP.
It disgusts me.
I can't. Yeah,
it disgusts me how much. Let's not talk about him anymore. Let's not talk. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how successful this kid is.
Yeah, and it's just it's so nice to be able to
Sickening.
see what he does and how he
I mean,
thinks.
he hasn't won a shark cage as far as I know, though, Griff. I mean, at least you got one over him. What has he
know,
ever
right?
done in the shark cage format?
Nothing.
In
And he's the one-
invitational free rolls, he's done practically nothing.
Exactly, and again, he's talking about winner-take-all tournaments like he knows what he's talking about. I know.
Oh, and here we go, Lasagna Man.
Lasagna. Nom, 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 nom. Is it going to eat now? Mustapha Kanit having a reputation as being one of the funniest, people in the live circuit. Just, the way he analyzes things, the jokes. He's so quick-witted and funny, and we're gonna definitely get him on the webcam for you at some point. Obviously in the coming time here at the GPL. Just such a character. I remember I heard a story about him at the table once where he was talking about a hand, and the person was like, "Oh, if I call the turn, I'm beating you or something," and then he goes, "Yes, but then the river, Moline." he's like a great character. Just like him and I have this inside joke about him being Wario from the Mario video games. He's just a great character for poker, and one of the most talented players in the world, and why he was the first overall selection, first overall pick in the Global Poker League, and he'll show you guys why over the coming weeks.
Yeah. Mustapha Kanit impressions by Griffin Benga, exclusive to the GPL live stream.
Most people like to check here. I like to go a bit more linear with my raises. And King 8 suited, expect mostly to get limp called by Mustapha here.
Mustapha flopping best yet again.
What a great card for me. For my range, I should say. I could check your bet. I'm just gonna check this. Oh, this.
And
Mustapha has plenty of nines here, so.
Mustapha can count himself very, very unlucky. Particularly such a deceptive river.
And I think we just gotta pay off here, because if he has a 9, then he's played this hand very well. But other than that, he gets there with plenty of weekends. Yeah, and that makes sense. Well played by Musa.
Something of a cold deck there for Mustapha Kanit. And Dominik Nitsche really started off in an unfortunate way. If you missed it, had a big hand against Justin Bonomo when he was outflopped in a 4-bet pot. But he's right back in this thing now.
Yeah, just going to show why he was a selection for the Berlin Bears. He's just such a talented player, and it's really fun to see his insights so far in this sit and go.
How do we rate his bedroom compared to others we've seen, Griff? Looks like is he just unpacking?
Yeah, I would say he sort of has like a tier 2 bedroom of the ones that we've seen so
Second
far.
round draft pick.
Yeah,
bedroom.
second round draft pick. I mean, I think Bonomo and Darren Elias set the bar pretty high. Tim Adams, just what was he doing with that light? We're gonna have to. He knows that he's gonna have to. If he wants to be like,
Speak to him about webcam GTO.
Yeah, exactly. Zeno, you got to be forgiving because it was his first time ever doing that.
He was at his mum's house though as well.
Did he say that it was the first time that he's used a webcam? I forget. Did he mention that at any point during the match? I feel like it was something he might have said.
About as many times as we mentioned Martin Jakobsen and Anton Wig were both Swedes.
They're both Swedish.
The ratio of ace-5 from the color.
Look at this defend from Vlad. What a boss.
I'm actually loving Vladimir.
See a flip,
Mate, is there any of these players that you can't impersonate?
No, I can do them all.
Of the 72 players drafted, how many can you do an impersonation?
I think I could probably do them all.
How many have you been for dinner with?
I haven't done the math, but Dominik Nitsche has aces, and so I think we should, maybe give him a chance to.
And it's Vov Troy who. Oh, wow. Does he know?
Come on.
Too good.
I think he has timing tell. He can open very quick. Try to make it look like
That's
he's still. Ace 10 is not good in this range.
Generic Russian accent.
Yeah. Stereotypes and all here at the Global Poker League, guys.
We're folding.
Bryan probably just gonna
Shove.
Bryan Huang will win it. He's doing a raiding card.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm not going to do. I'm not doing any Hong Kong stars, by the way.
You just blind down.
Yeah.
Wait till you got 8 big blinds. Get it in 3-way, and then crush.
There's going to be no Hong Kong stars impersonations on this feed. I don't think. But he's actually a mainstay from Vancouver too, right? Like he spent a lot of time in Canada. Bryan Huang.
Second home. Must be. What a boss.
That's pretty nice, yeah.
Just be done with the hand there. Mike plays like all the aces because Mike Leah, he likes to play all the aces. And he's just going to bet and I'm just going to fold.
You're laughing at his misfortune, or?
No, I'm just obviously like. He's made a few comments about Mike, obviously like loving the game, V-pipping like 29% off.
Mike Leah is the one who knocks, buddy. He does not mess around. You can see the respect the guy like Nitsche has for Mike Leah, talking about how dangerous he is, that he's playing a lot of hands.
You see the difference in strategy.
I prefer calling a lot from the small blind in these spots, just in general. So here we go.
And this is all about balance. Obviously, it's not a very nice hand, but this is why he's doing this. It's for deception.
Solid board for us.
He's
Shouldn't
limping
have
the
too
jacks
many
into
aces when he checks.
Yeah. Well, no, because just to be balanced.
I'm just going to step here. Step very small. So we're just in calling here on the turn.
Treble.
Just in calls here, he's going to have a 7. He's going to have quite a few queens. I still have more aces than him.
It's a tricky card.
A lot of 2 pairs as well. So
Treble.
the all important straight blockers. So I'm gonna bump this with my jack. It's very hard for him to have. He doesn't have ace queen, which I have. I have aces too. He doesn't have those. He doesn't have queens.
He knows he doesn't have aces, right?
So it's really hard for him. He has to make quite a big call there. And wonder what he folded.
This is how Dominik lives.
Yeah, I know.
Just bashing people up. Just going toe-to-toe with Justin Bonomo and coming out on top. That's how this guy lives. And bad news for Bryan Huang, because this raise is not... Oh, sorry. Mike Leah as well. And really...
Yeah, it's bad news for Justin Bonomo because Mike Leah is the danger.
And we're going to have an all-in Justin Bonomo at risk.
Oh!
Jeez.
Nice flop, Mike Leah.
Someone gets into a flip and you think that of me?
How'd you flop them, Dad?
I got another confession to make. I flopped quads.
It should like explode the webcam.
Yeah, yeah.
Justin, what are you hanging around for?
Yeah, get
Justin, haven't you got something else to do? Come on, Bray.
Don't
Mate.
linger. Don't do the leave behind, Justin.
Yeah, see you
Thank
later.
you.
Showers.
Unbelievable.
And the donut for Justin Bonomo, no points for the London Royals.
The early MVP out first.
Yeah, absolutely
overplaying
boxed,
Ace King.
Absolutely boxed by Griffin Benja.
Unbelievable. Just, embarrassing me.
And Mike Leah.
Very disciplined, just flat here by Mike Leah. A lot of people elect to 3-bet here because obviously Ace-10 off is ahead of the range of Nitsche here.
Interesting spot.
Doesn't want to get the 25 bigs in.
From the small blind. 6-4-3. Interesting board against the small blind call. Interesting. I'm just going to bet big.
Mike Leah's going to have to call here with the ace of spades, otherwise he's just going to be folding too much on this kind of board. Small blind flatting range in general doesn't include many 3s, 4s or 6s. Oh, he does fold.
Take it down. Very Broadway heavy in that spot calling, so...
Not crazy about that fold, but again, it's so much easier when we can see the
Mate,
cards.
Mike Leah knows, you know, like he's obviously, he knows his range and he knows, has that insight into Dominik, but I perhaps would have continued there. Ranked 4,560th.
Again, really disciplined fold by Vladimir Troyanovskiy. It's amazing to watch. His pre-flop hand selection. It's just very insightful stuff. He always seems to know which hands he wants to play in certain situations. Just a phenomenal player. So much fun to watch.
How's he folded? Yeah, as well. He's folded here, and Bryan Huang is going to have a easy jam all in. I guess it's because of Bryan's stack depth. He's like made a slight adjustment and tightened his button opening range because he doesn't want to have to raise fold to a 10 big blind shove, which would have actually been the case because Bryan wouldn't have folded the ace jack.
Oh, brilliant.
We will hopefully be getting Dominik's webcam back. We can't see it. Can they see it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows?
Do we really need to see the webcam again?
I don't know.
And we should consider betting here, but I think Vladimir likes to continuation bet a lot, so we're just going to check, and when he bets, then we're all in. Oh, maybe my read is off here. Damn it.
Such a disciplined check back by Vladimir Troyanovskiy. Doesn't want to bet fold here.
Well, he's in trouble now.
And,
because...
well...
Mr. Leah, hello.
I'm going to try and just do something really
Oh, mate, has he got his trophies out the bedroom cover?
Of course he does. He's the Walter White of the GPL.
Big.
Okay. We'll talk a bit about Mike Leah.
I'm going to bet...
Just let Dominik.
I have a lot of bluffs here, so... kind of want to go big with value as well. And it's a really tough spot for him because he sits there mostly with ace highs. And it's going to be... he doesn't want to fold them, but he's kind of forced to fold them. So, but I also know he likes to hero call, so he's going to call.
Uh-oh.
And this is a brilliant
GG!
for my hand. Just what I expected.
Running golden.
So we're going to tank for 7-8 seconds, and then we're all in, because that was the plan all along. And he's sort of forced into bluff catching in this spot, which is really unattractive, so we're all in.
Vladimir Troyanovskiy will depart.
And he did call down. I'm assuming ace high, which was his plan all along to call down. Yeah. Unlucky.
Dominik Nitsche showing how to play house over house there, but very unfortunate for Vladimir Troyanovskiy, who exits, picking up just 1 point for the Moscow Wolverines. And I told you, Bryan Huang is raiding card. He's laddered his way into fourth.
Strategy against everyone. I flop 2 pair, and I'll just start out with a small bet.
Mike Leah getting his headset sorted. He will be probably joining us, and we'll be getting some insight from him at some point.
Yeah, we're having a bit of some sound problems here with Mike Leah. Obviously, he thinks that he's able to be heard. We're going to have that sorted for you guys shortly, guys. Again, these early stages of the GPL, there's 72 players that we have to finagle to get all these with the webcams, the mics. We're going to have some growing pains. I hope you can bear with us. This is obviously a very, very ambitious project that Alex Dreyfus and the Global Poker League is trying to pull off, and we're trying to give you the best content possible, but, it isn't easy, so we really do appreciate the patience. This is all a learning experience for all of us, and but so far, a lot of fun stuff. Dominik Nitsche, the early chip lead after that slow start, and Mike Leah now on the cams with him.
Oh.
Not sure what's going on with Dominik here. It's pretty ruffle.
If Mike Leah opens, we're going to 3-bet, we're going to 3-bet, and Mike likes to open. I like to 3-bet. Did you hear me? Nah. Okay, we can't call it out. It's just silly business. But what we can do is we can put Mike Leah and Musta under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so what Dominik's referring to there is when there's a short stack, the big stack can put the medium stacks under a lot of pressure. Mike Leah and Mustapha Kanit don't want to bust before Bryan Huang, the 10 big blind stack, departs. So this is a strategy that a lot of tournament players utilize, leveraging their opponents, leveraging the fact that they're the middle stacks and that busting for 25, 27 big blinds when another opponent has 11 big blinds is a real problem. As it is, Mike Leah is going to have a simple shove here, one would imagine. Bryan Huang probably going to employ a strategy of playing tight himself, looking for a good spot to get the chips in good. And in the meantime, when he's folding, if there's a confrontation between two of the other stacks, he automatically gains points for the Hong Kong Stars just by there being an elimination of one of these other stacks.
I typically should just fold here, but given that this is a format with a point structure, never mind. Musta is ruining all the fun for me today. Musta.
Wow, what a sizing from Mike Leah. Seemed to know what Kanit's hand and strategy was. Picking a slightly unconventional, tiny four-bet click-back, but with Mustapha just having Jack-5, that was obviously the correct strategy, and we might have another all-in confrontation.
Really interesting spot here. I'm just going to go all in. Mike Leah can't call anyway, and Musta can't really call either. Okay, now we're flipping. With decent equity against everything. So, can we get there? Ooh, nope. Nice hand, Musta, nice hand.
Big swing in this match.
Yeah.
Dominik Nitsche losing a flip to Mustapha Kanit, and now it's Lasagna Man. Remember, the overall #1 draft pick, who is the chip lead in his first ever Six Max match.
Yeah, common misconception though. It isn't the Lasagna Man. It's Lasagna.
Sorry.
Because he loves lasagna.
Of course.
Yeah, the
Apologies
chip leader
to
for the #1 overall selection. And it just goes to show, Sam, that the reason that you're the #1 in the world is really just because you win flips against players that are better than you. And we really learned that since we've been able to see.
That is what tournament poker is.
For poker, there is a lot of, the edges are very small at this level. And obviously, an unfortunate flip for Dominik Nitsche there. He's been playing very, very well here at his first showing the fans out there what he's capable of. And I think he's going to be really fun for the rest of the Global Poker League.
Bryan Huang, we should point out, will have also been cursing the fact that Mustapha won that confrontation. Had Mustapha been eliminated,
Could make a case for check raising, but again, it's so annoying that Bryan Huang is so short. But Mike plays so many hands.
Yeah, and you really see some insight into how they're familiar with each other because they played before. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah,
you got it, Mike. You got it. I'm sort of handicapped here.
Yeah, these top-level pros, obviously, there's a certain amount of 10Ks, 25Ks around the world that they're going to come into contact with each other a lot. Hope for Bryan Swake.
The weapons of math destruction for Walter White in the big blind here. He's not slow rolling him, is he? Yes. Quads again?
Come on, let's see a club on the turn.
7 of clubs for the sweat.
Come on.
It is more fun. Duke. Nothing.
Dear. GG Bryan Huang. Didn't get many hands. You need to pick up some cards in such a tough lineup. Still did his best and puts points on the board for the Hong Kong Stars.
Yeah, I think Bryan Huang, it's such a tough draw, and I think that Selena Lin and his team would have been, would have been, happy with anything as good as 3rd plus. So I think 4th is not necessarily a positive result, but with a lineup like this, to at least get a couple points on the board, that's really what it's about. It's about chipping away. You think about these heads-up matches and the scoring system of the Global Poker League. It's very easy to get, 0, only 3 points in that format. So to get 2 in the first match, when you can have a possible 7 in the next, it's a fine start for the Hong Kong Stars. And we're going to have a big flip here, I think.
Yep, snap call.
Yep.
Another coin flip against Mustapha. That's never gone well for me in my entire life. But, can we do it?
Huge sweat card.
Too many outs. 8 of clubs on the river.
I'll tell you who picks the oceans.
Okay, guys, that was important.
There it is. Mustapha Kanit, unusual experience for him, losing a flip there, Griff.
Yeah, well, they sort of exchanging stacks there, and we're getting pretty shallow here. A lot of the stuff that you're going to be seeing, there's very little difference between the three of these guys at this stage of the Six Max tournament. I feel like this particular Six Max went a bit slow, and that's why the blinds are so high. So you're going to see a lot of really interesting strategies, I think, when they're this shallow. A lot of limping, maybe some button limping three-handed.
Okay.
Sorry to talk over Dom there, guys.
Generally, my strategy is to just call there. I make mistakes too. Yeah, he's 8, we just raise.
The stoic Mike Leah weighing his options there. Very disciplined fold there with the ace in the small blind.
I think with players as good as Dominik, you can't just pick blocker hands. You need to have something that has some playability, because Dominik's going to take your post so often that ace deuce off, despite having the high card value, just isn't strong enough to 3-bet Dom.
And as we talked about, now we see the limping strategy, and I'm sure Dom will take the lead now by talking to us about this hand.
Come on, Dom, do your job. What are we paying you for?
I just defend here against Musa.
I mean, this is a very good call for Dom's range. Yeah, and Mustapha forced to check when second pair pairs, and now Dominik has a opportunity to take the pot away.
I got to admit, I think the background for Mike Leah is my personal favorite. So many trophies, so many accomplishments for him. It is a bit of a sick brag just to show all your trophies in a situation like this, but it's probably just his personal room. It's not. I don't think he set it up for.
Trophy room.
Yeah.
Do you have a trophy room with the shark cage trophy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I have a lot of like Counter-Strike trophies too, and then of course like just from sports as a kid. So I have a little
and
trophy
sports. Your 3 careers.
Oh yeah, buddy. Chess, ping pong. I was winning a lot of. I'm all over the map, buddy.
Mate, maybe after he's done with poker, Alex Dreyfus could sportify ping pong and be back in.
You can't sportify a sport.
Oh, that's true.
Marathon chess, though, he'll trademark.
I'm just doing
He was
a
telling us the other day he's thinking about doing
hammer race blind against blind. I'll go a little bigger.
Mike Leah, a big Toronto sports fan, resident of just outside Toronto. So I'm obviously very familiar with him being from Toronto. Massive Blue Jays fan, massive sports fan. Massive fantasy fan. So this really makes sense for him to be interested in the Global Poker League. He's a stats junkie. He's obviously going to be someone that wants to, compete for the MVP, put up a lot of points for, for his team, the Paris Aviators. Pardon me. So yeah, he's someone that I think is going to be a lot of people's favorite players on the tour.
Is he very French? He's like, why is he with the Paris Aviators? He likes French food.
No, I never said that. I just said that's where he was drafted. Don't embarrass me in front of her.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what are you doing?
I got you back.
Good flop here from Mustapha Kanit,
I'm not interested in floating here.
And Dominik is not interested in floating here.
And yeah, exactly. Again, for those of you bit unfamiliar with these big names, you can see that again, no ego from Dominik Nitsche. It's not like he tries to outplay his opponent every single time. And this is going to be a good game. Mustapha Kanit is going to need an ace. He's going to need
another
a 10.
huge flop for Mike Leah. And it looks like Mike Leah is going to be letting Mustapha know, stay out of my territory.
And we lose Mustapha Kanit of the Rome Emperors in 3rd place.
And now we're actually heads up between the two people that we had on the webcam since about 4 people left. So clearly, our system's rigged for those players that are on camera.
Tweet in #GPL if you think it's all rigged.
Queens. Sorry for the weird camera angle right now because we have queens.
It's actually not as weird as you think, Dom. It's almost like it's not even there.
3-betting. Sorry about that, guys. Boom. That works.
We talked a lot about, obviously, Mustapha Kanit getting 3 points for the Rome Emperors. We talked a little bit about Vladimir Troyanovskiy.
Min raising a lot against him.
But these guys are, just on the same level as those players, absolutely. And you look at when these guys were selected. I mean, Mike Leah, he's going to put up a minimum of 5 points and a maximum of 7 for the Paris Aviators, and he was kind of just someone that not a lot of people expected to be drafted by that team, and he's showing why he was selected, because he's going to put up points for this team.
Yeah, I agree. Great fourth-round draft pick. And also the thing we should mention is coming into this match, the Berlin Bears.
I hope this works. Sorry, guys. That's a little bit of a problem myself.
The Berlin Bears were sitting rock bottom of the table with just 3 points on the board, and now Dominik Nitsche is going to more than double that tally at least.
That's a really great point. Dominik Nitsche, the Berlin Bears needed someone to show up today, and that's exactly what Dominik Nitsche's doing. Already locked up at least 5 points, maybe 7 for the win, and then he's going to be right back in.
Fold a lot against min race for some reason. So I'm starting out with mostly min race strategy. If I'm wrong, I'm going to switch to just calling.
Again, guys, just a few technical difficulties here early with the Global Poker League, but thanks again for bearing with us. And this is only going to get better.
We guarantee by week 7 or 8, all these technical.
And by season 6, like we're going to have things like set up.
Come on, Mike. Not that tough of a spot. Let's play.
Mike Leah perhaps having some internet difficulties. Either that.
No, I think he's probably deciding whether he wants to. Well, he could. I mean, he could obviously be having internet difficulties. I don't know, but he might be thinking about whether he wants to 3-bet or flat. But by this time, he would have made the decision.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He has played the game before, hasn't he? So tell us a little bit. You obviously.
Does Mike know it's his turn? Don't tell him on Skype it's your turn. I'll tell Mike it's his turn.
These bosses, they all have each other on Skype. They have a little friendship group, don't they? We're not included with Griff. So just to recap, if you're joining us now, this is the Global Poker League. This is the first six-max match of the week in the EurAsia Conference. You're looking at Dominik Nitsche of the Berlin Bears, who is second in chips at the moment. He will have guaranteed 5 points on the board for his team against Mike Leah, who is Canadian, lives in Toronto, but is representing the Paris Aviators. He was a surprise fourth-round draft.
Where's Mike Leah show? Where's Mike Leah? Where is he?
And Dominik making a few jokes. We got a few technical difficulties with Mike Leah's internet. These poor poker pros, they don't have as much money as you think. They don't have even consistent internet.
Mike.
Just building the suspense, guys. This is the sort of showmanship you can expect from the GPL. Keeping things exciting. Just to recap what happened today, Justin Bonomo bust in 6th place for 0 points. He 3-bet all in with Ace King, and Mike Leah found pocket tens cold to eliminate him. Then in 5th place, we lost Vladimir Troyanovskiy of the Moscow Wolverines. Then in 4th place, we lost a short-stacked Bryan Huang, who really didn't have the rub of the green today, wasn't dealt almost any premium hands or had any good spots. He departed in 4th points for the team that were top of the table at the beginning of today, the Hong Kong Stars. 3rd place, we lost Mustapha Kanit, Lasagna, one of the emerging stars of the poker universe, who was representing the Rome Emperors, actually went number 1 in the draft. He busted in 3rd, and now we're going to have a heads-up match. We're just going to actually, I think, pause the tournament. Our producers have decided to pause the tournament, and we're going to wait until we get Mike Leah's connection problems sorted. So thanks for bearing with us.
Hey guys, I'm Griffin Benjer. This is Sam Grafton. That's the first six-max match of the day. Again, having a little bit of internet problems. Mike Leah. So right now, you were talking a little bit about the eliminations so far. Let's talk about the 2 players that are left, because obviously, they're very familiar. They've played with each other before. At least we know that Dominik, has a pretty good insight into the way he's playing. And
yeah, I agree. Dominik Nitsche is one of the sharpest minds on the EPT circuit.
Sorry, yeah, Dominik Nitsche's obviously talking right now. We're trying to sort out these technical issues, but it obviously throws a little bit of a wrench into into the dryer, into the washing machine,
No,
when stuff like this happens?
if these guys are tuning back in for the second week, they know there's going to be a few technical problems along the way, but that's why you've got such competent hosts as you and me, Griff. We can just keep the fans entertained in the meantime. You know, Dominik Nitsche, who I was talking about there, you know, one of the sharpest minds on the poker tour, has incredible respect amongst his peers. Obviously, that's one of the exciting things about the GPL. That's one of the reasons so many young professionals making huge money from the game of poker signed up for this format and participated and were drafted to these teams so they could show their insights. There we got great insight into the mind of Dominik, talking us through the hands. And, you know, I think really, really impressive, both the way the guy played and also his generosity. You know, this is a guy who plays 100Ks and 50Ks, yet he's giving us insight into his defending strategies, his 3-bet strategies, what flops and turns he barrels. And, you know, that was a real treat for me.
Yeah, and you know, Mike Leah on the other end of the spectrum, you know, he's not as familiar to a lot of people on the tour that, you know, watch the European Poker Tour, you know, with Joe Stapleton, James Hardigan. Just even thinking about it, love those guys. But, you know, this is someone that when he shows up to a live multi-table tournament, he is just always my favorite to win. I mean, you look at the last 2 years, I'm serious when I say this. At the WPT Fallsview last year, he went there, he played the 1K, he won it for 108,000. The next year, went back, won it again for 151,000. This is someone that wins poker tournaments, and people are going to learn so much from him, and this is why I compare him to the great Walter White Heisenberg, because this is a guy who's just like one of the end bosses. And you know,
yeah,
he's unbelievable.
Interestingly enough, you say that. Obviously, one of the exciting pieces of news over the weekend, Aaron Paul signing up for the LA Sunset. Apparently, Bryan Cranston was interested in representing the New York Rounders, but Bryn Kenny turned him down to sign up his brother Tyler Kenny. Better luck for season 2, Bryan Cranston.
Hey, well, that's the whole, you know, strategy with the New York Rounders. They got to keep it in the family. You know, they're like I said, the good fellas of the GPL. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to get back here.
Yeah, our backstage team will come up with a thing, but today on the GPL, we're going to have a second round of matches with these 6 guys, no matter what happens here with the heads up, whether they split the points or whether we go back and rejoin the action. So that's one thing. We're going to be having a second round of match with them. And then later on in the day, we obviously have the Americas match with a lot of exciting players on display.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm excited to see these guys play again. I love the way the dynamic shifts when you go into the second match because people are in different positions, and we might have some different people on the webcam. But again, like it's you know, now that they're familiar with each other after playing that one match, you'll see how the dynamics change and how that carries over into the second match. But of course, Selena Lynn electing to change her pick in the second match again, and that really, really worked so well last time. And maybe this is a strategy that she's going to be using to really throw people off and not throw the same guys into the pits. You know, it worked so well with Raiden Khan last week, and I'm just loving the way Selena Lynn, you know, I think this is all how she mapped things out, and it's so nice to see a plan come together, and I'm really proud and happy for that team so far. Given that they were, you know, really the underdogs of the entire Global Poker League.
Yeah, really exciting. We saw Selena Lynn speak with real passion about the GPL earlier in the day, also tweets about it as well. And yet, she made a change last Tuesday on the first ever day of the GPL, and Raiden Khan, pretty much an unknown to me and Griffin at the very least, although many people playing
Griffin
the ABPT,
and I, we talked about this.
The ABPT circuit are familiar with him. He took down the second match for 7 points for the Hong Kong Stars. That's one of the major reasons that they were top of the league coming into this second week. So yeah, she's going to go for that strategy again. I think Bryan Huang will be a little bit disappointed to be benched for that second game, given that the situation meant he didn't have many opportunities. I'm hearing now, though, exciting news just in, Griffin.
Thrilling.
We're going back to the game.
And we're back, and Mike Leah still has pocket 4s, and he still doesn't know what to do.
Oh, he's seeing a flop. Wow, look, he's got his F-top jerseys lined up in the background.
Oh my God, no way.
Jerseys.
That's
He's
so
opened that
sick.
wardrobe deliberately.
For sure.
Wait, and I'm just gonna bet and then just like shut down. Third part to see what happens. The disconnect makes his hand really awkward. No idea what the hell's going on.
So sick, by the way. It did Full
Yeah.
Tilt ship him a few dollars to show those F-top jerseys. For those of you not
Yeah, I mean,
familiar,
they have a lot to work
Full
with these
Tilt
days.
used to be a great poker site, and they used to give away gold sports jerseys when you won their
I feel
major
like these are the stories we're going to tell our kids
yeah.
one day. It's like
So,
once upon a time,
I'm loving
there was
that.
a poker
Mate,
site.
He's got
Which is
3.
Named
defend
Full
this.
Tilt Poker.
Oh, dream flop.
Okay, this is a big hand. See whether Mike Leah decides to c-bet this hand. Actually, worse A size can call. We can see, obviously, Mike Leah in horrific shape.
Not physically, though. I mean, you look at Mike Leah. This is a guy who is, he's 41 years old, obviously in incredibly good shape, eats well, cares about his body. It's interesting. Mike Leah, he had a six-figure-paying job and decided to leave it to play poker. So that really says a lot about
By the way,
how good he is.
We're not encouraging viewers to do that, though, are we?
No, I think
if
that
you
Mike
have
Leah
a
is a special
well-paid
case.
job, keep hold of it.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting situation here.
Wow, huge run out
I think
here.
Mike is good enough to try his 10 value bets here. So we're gonna let him do that. And when I have diamonds, I could just bet it myself. I can also check call. I think both plays are completely reasonable.
Look, he's even got a Card Player magazine in the background with a picture of him on it. Look, right beside that trophy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we're seeing the bedroom of someone who loves the game.
That's annoying. We can't fold there.
Incredibly favourable run out for Mike Leah, and he extends his lead.
Smirk from Mike Leah.
He knows he got very fortunate there with that run out. And that shows there is obviously, despite how much skill is involved in poker, so obviously a huge
Mike
amount of
raises,
luck
there's
as
nothing
well.
we can do. It's going to go to 11k.
I'm sorry, there's something about Dominik Nitsche's beard that I just love. I don't know why. I know on paper it looks kind of ratty, but it looks really good on him for some reason. I'm down with it.
A quick fold from Mike. It's very good. We're going to open the ace-10. A quick fold.
Guys, if you're just joining us, this is the Global Poker League. Please check us out at GPL. Follow the conversation there on Twitter. www.globalpokerleague.com is the website where you'll find all the information about the players.
Very aggressive, so if you 3-bets, all the chips are flying in.
The teams, the standings, so much to ingest there at www.globalpokerleague.com. And this is really exciting. First match of the second week, and I'm Griffin Benger. He is Sam Grafton, and we're just really thrilled to be here and give you guys this coverage.
Yeah, we certainly are. And Dominik Nitsche picking up some big hands here, heads up, and having 3 bets. A couple of hands back from
Same
the
thing as with
blind.
ace king. Can make it 11k again. Hopefully Mike just goes all in because we have the queens. Such a dream hand heads up. Oh yeah, just give me the worst board possible. I'm just gonna bet a third pot here. I can check too, but I can also bet small. I mean, really, I could have also just checked against them, but no, it's an annoying situation. Sometimes in these situations, they're not really that fun. Out of position, this kind of board. But I think I have some showdown, which is why I said to bet. But I just want to check here and hopefully, maybe I'm good against the 8. I like his ace-7. Yeah. Nice hand.
And we were talking about the luck factor, and then Mike Leah.
We're gonna keep raising
in a very dominated position pre-flop, gets the better flop, and wins another nice pot against Dom.
Flop a gut shot. Gonna bet around 40% of the pot. Really good flop for our hand. Could make a case for betting bigger even, and then just firing off. Any Jack 10-9 gives me what I'd like to call it the effective nut. So Mike's check raise here, we're just gonna answer with a call. And we turn. Who picks these turn cards? Is it Griffin? I'm sure it's Griffin. I'm just sitting there laughing.
Big turn card.
Anyway, so we turn. Mike checks.
That's how good these players are. Knows this is a bad card for him.
Interesting situ. Interesting. I'm gonna bet a third pot here, and no, I'm gonna bet a quarter pot here. And what that does is it's yeah, I'm gonna bet tiny. Force Mike to call again if he check raised me with some sort of weak 8, like a king 8, queen 8 type hand. Or if he somehow check raised with a 9, like I want to force him to call. I mean, and that river just, who picks these cards? God damn it. How about like a blank river? But you were just gonna tank for like 15 seconds and then come to the conclusion that, I mean, obviously our only play is to go all in here, so the time is down to 11, and then we go all in.
And a little wince there from Mike Leah.
Yeah, he really can't beat anything.
No, he can't
obviously,
call
most
here,
of Dominik's floats are going to be 2 overcards to the 8.
Oh, I can't wait.
I mean,
I want to know what he has. So interesting.
I think the only
Are
combination
you playing like this, Mike?
the only combination of hands I think that Mike.
Somehow. But if he had one, he would have called already. And for me, in terms of bluffs, I mean, I have a lot of. It's such a weird spot.
Yeah, I think the only hand.
Such a weird
I
spot.
think one of the only hand combos that Mike is considering is something like 4-5 suited, backdoor flush draw and a gut shot on the flop. That's really the only combination I think he's beating. So I think he's probably going to find a fold.
He probably
here,
did turn a 9 and now he's just like not sure what to do.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he can't ever find a call here. I think that's really only one combo. But he kind of wants to make a hero call to start things off in the GPL, but he thinks better of it.
Good fold, Mike.
Yeah.
Tough spot.
If he knew what he had, I think he would know it wasn't too tough. The blinds are getting up here, guys. Dom and Mike are both around 30 big blinds.
Walks are always appreciated, heads up. Or at any point ever. I like walks. 6-9 suited, we raise it up. Another interesting board, but we're just gonna get bigger here, I think, on this texture. Sort of want him to fold like his queen highs, like jack highs. No funny business, Mike. Just like throw it away. 6-4 offsuit. Plays well when you get a walk. 2-5 suited, just raise it up.
Mike seems to have a more tight heads-up strategy.
I'm generally not a fan of
than
folding
before as
pre-flop
well.
and heads-up sit and goes.
And
Never have, never will be. 9-4 deuce is one of these boards where Mike is just going to c-bet, and then the turn's most likely going to be an... if I call, then the turn's going to be an overcard. But the stacks are in such a way where I can't check raise and get it in, because we have too many chips, so I think calling's the only option. Turn is one of these dreaded overcards. It's a jack of diamonds. So I expect him to continue here with a second bet quite often. And this is sort of weird. Oh my god, you got the F-Tops jersey. Classic, Mike. Anyway, so here's the spot where we should value bet, because I think Mike is like the kind of person that's going to hero call me here quite often.
the problem for Mike here, of course, is hands like 3-5, 5-6, spades, backdoor diamonds, all bricked off, but he makes
Okay, if he folds, that's okay. I thought he would call me with like a 4 or 2, maybe a river 7. So
Very good fold from Mike Leah there. Dominik thought he'd pay off with a 4 or deuce. Mike Leah, perhaps having a 5 blocker in his hand, deciding to make the full fold, showing his class there. And he's not going to be an easy opponent for Dom to beat.
Both have it's a good flop for both of us. Just not for me this time. Just check it.
Masterclass poker so far from Dominik Nitsche. Really great at breaking down his hands, and it's nice to get an insight into the mind of someone like that for sure.
Shame Mike Leah's internet is so shaky that we couldn't get insights from him.
I don't.
Hey
really
man, that room backdrop is the only insight I need. I kind of just want to see him like get in a tough spot where he just like puts his hands on his face, like he's just like all upset, and he just has all these WQ bracelets and watches just like all the way up his arm. He's just like, oh, this is such a tough spot, and my arms are so heavy. Why do I do this?
Yeah. So funny. I mean, just to speak momentarily, recap the caliber of these players. Dominik Nitsche, 3 bracelets and
Just 3, actually?
and a WPT title, and Mike Leah. He won a WSOP High Roller, if I remember correctly. Is that right? 25k WSOP bracelet, and a whole host of other results. 3 F-top jerseys, which you can see in the background. Who cares about World Series bracelets when you're winning F-tops?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you got that avatar?
Which one?
The F-tops avatar.
No, I never won an F-tops. I won the T-Rex though. I rocked that. I was so thrilled about winning the T-Rex on Full Tilt Poker that I literally made it like my.
I check it down here. I think there's like enough showdown.
My profile picture on Facebook. I was so thrilled about it.
And of course, Shark Cage.
Huh?
And Shark Cage as well.
Yeah, Shark Cage.
Mike tries to showdown an ace, which he has quite often. We can't really value bet here either with the queen on the river, so we just check it down. And yeah, perfect. Like no incentive to bluff, no incentive to value bet. Just check. 8 2 offsuit is just one of the few hands I think we gotta lay down here. Ace Queen, just one of those hands where we just get a raise.
And this, do you think he's going to jam here? What do you know?
Expect Mike to like go all in quite frequently here. Because like I've been raising a lot, we call.
Dominik Nitsche, if he can hold here, he will win this 6-max tournament for the Berlin Bears, posting their first win, just fading a king or a 10.
And we win! That was fun. Good game, Mike. See you in the next one.
Hey guys, Dominik Nitsche winning the first match ever for the Berlin Bears. Obviously the rough start for Jungleman last week. Dominik Nitsche comes in here for his manager. Philip Grusom takes it down. Just great work from Dom. Mike Leah showing why he's one of my favorite tournament players. Mustapha Kanit sneaking into 3rd place. Bonomo, of course, running bad. It was... it was really, there was a lot of interesting things going on in that match.
Yeah, and let's talk about the winner for a moment, Dominik Nitsche. This is someone Triple Eight have as one of their poker ambassadors.
Triple Eight, is that what we go with?
And I think you can see why. I mean, a guy of real charisma, real personality, very generous there. As I say time and time again about these players, they're not obligated to share their thoughts, but telling us, breaking down his strategy, played incredibly well, obviously super fortunate in certain spots, winning big flips at key times, having the rub of the green against Mike Leah, but he'll be super pleased to put up a big result for the Berlin Bears. And as you say, Mike Leah, someone, I got to be honest here, Griff, day one, you said to me how much you like Mike Leah out of the 4th round draft picks, what an asset he'd be to the Paris Aviators, and you've been proved right.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the, my favorite players on the tour, of course, and from Canada, so I'm a little bit biased. But, a great selection by the Aviators, and what a strong start the Paris Aviators have had so far. We talk about Elke taking 2 of 3 against Jungleman, David Katai with that masterclass performance, getting 10 points last week out of that first set of 6-max matches. So the Aviators have to be thrilled right now, and of course, Fabrice Dessoulier, their manager, has to be really happy with the progress so far for that team.
Yeah, of course. And Fabrice obviously wanted to go homegrown. He picked French players, obviously Katai, Belgian, but from the same region. But in that 4th round draft pick, he's decided to go for a strong player, obviously someone he deeply respects in the world of poker game, and absolutely fantastic to see it
So let's take a look at the standings here. Of course, Dominik Nitsche for the Berlin Bears securing 7 points for the German team. Paris Aviators, Mike Lee, 5 points. Mustapha Kanit sneaking in a third, getting 3. Bryan Huang only putting up 2 points for the Hong Kong Stars, but a pretty decent showing. Again, with a lineup like this, the Moscow Wolverines, Vladimir, Troyanovskiy, just a single point, and Bonomo, who was my pick after that heads-up sequence last week to be one of the MVPs of this league, unfortunately putting up a donut. But that's the nature of poker, and especially in a when the field is this strong.
Yeah, in these tough formats, you've got to win your flips. Justin Bonomo, Ace King, Mike Leah found the tens cold. Huge flip for a big pot, eliminated Bonomo. Had it gone the other way and Mike Leah lost the flip, we would have seen him going out in 6th, and maybe Justin Bonomo would have gone on to finish 1st or 2nd. Obviously, luck plays a massive fact, despite the skill levels of these players.
Yeah, and again, we're having one change going into the second match, which we'll touch on a bit later. Bryan Huang is going to be subbed out for another player from the Hong Kong Stars, and we're going to get you that coverage real soon. But first, we're going to talk a little bit more about the standings with the desk and Laura and Eric, you guys ready for us?
We sure are. We're always ready here in the lounge, aren't we, Eric?
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations there to the Berlin Bears. Dominik Nitsche picking up 7 points, and it was needed because they were at the bottom of the table.
Yes, suddenly things are looking great for Berlin. They move up to 10 points, no longer in last place. That unfortunately belongs to the Wolverines. Wolverines dropped to 6 at the moment. Big news for Paris. Paris has overtaken the Hong Kong Stars. So congrats to the Aviators. Now at 21 points, Hong Kong at 20 points. So standings are in motion.
Yeah, Fabrice Soulier, manager there of the Paris Aviators, obviously very happy, very pleased with Mike Leah. Mike Leah played really well. I really enjoyed watching Leah and Nitsche heads up there.
It was a great match. Nitsche, of course, loves to talk, and that's great for us. Mike is more of a quiet guy. We talked to Fabrice last week. Mike Leah, that pick came out of absolutely nowhere. There's no relationship between Fabrice and Mike. Canadian, Anglophone Canadian with a Frenchman. But Fabrice just noticed how Mike was passionate about the league, passionate about sports, and that made a big difference too. Very competitive. So just he did not actually talk to Mike before the draft.
That close friends?
Absolutely not. They spent a little time at the aviation club. Fabrice had said back in the day on WPT. But really, acquaintances. They both play mixed games, so that's how they would have known each other. But not necessarily best of friends. But he loved that commitment. And again, had not talking to Mike. Mike was not aware that Fabrice was going to make that selection. It's just a great pick right before Montreal had their last selection. So who knows what would have happened with that Montreal pick? I think Montreal very happy with Xuan Liu actually.
Well, yes, Xuan Liu coming up very soon, which you're excited about, aren't you?
Of course, any Canadian from Mike Leah, of course, and Jonathan Duhamel. So it's a day of Canadians today, and should be a lot of fun there. Great to see Mike, by the way. There's 4 F-Tops jerseys. That one jersey, it says hiding in the back. A guy that loves his Blue Jays, loves his trophies, and that's always great to see as well.
Well, Dominik Nitsche there picking up 7 points for the Berlin Bears. Obviously, Daniel Cates, we watched last week playing in the 6 Max events, wasn't able to pick up any points, but it means Berlin Bears now leave the bottom of the table. Moscow Wolverines are at the bottom of the Eurasian Conference right now, but still everything to play for. We still have another Eurasian 6 Max coming up for you at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time. That's not too long, just stay where you are. It's all happening tonight here on the Global Poker League. And if you do miss some of it, then don't worry, because you can always head over to the website, all the W's, globalpokerleague.com, and you can find replays, feature hands. It's all there, isn't it?
We also need to mention to our Twitch followers that you can now, the emotes, there's now individual team emotes. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to select your favorite team and have that emote right next to your name when you're watching and cheering on the GPL and your favorite team.
We spoke to Selena Lin, manager of the Hong Kong Stars, just before the game kicked off. We didn't really see much of Bryan Huang there, though, did we?
No, it's funny how that seems to have been the strategy in 6 Max by all of the Hong Kong players. Sit back, see what happens, and then get into some situations. Bryan didn't get to win his race at the end and was eliminated, but still valuable points. As long as points are on the board, I think it's a success. They're no longer in first place. They're just 1 point behind Paris. We have to see what Guo Dong, who is our next Hong Kong player, he replaces Bryan Huang. So it'll be interesting to see what type of strategy Guo plays. By the way, Guo was on a set in China today, playing some poker with Martin Jacobson, with Montreal National Martin Jacobson.
It's a small little circle, this poker lark, isn't it?
That's right. So Montreal and Hong Kong is spending time together in China.
building the bond.
That's right.
We have to mention, of course, lasagna man Mustapha Kanit, who was playing for the Rome Emperors there, who led most of the first half of the match, I would say.
Yeah, there was him and Dominik seemed to have exchanged chip leads near the end. Great to see Kanit. I think he'll be very satisfied with that third place finish. Points are points. Points are on the board. Now things can relax, and I'm sure we'll see the best of Mustapha again in this next match.
As we say, next match coming up at 1:40 p.m. Eastern time. If you've got any comments you would like to make, who do you think is going to win the league? Who do you think played well today? Whatever you think, then get in touch with us on Twitter, #GPL. Also, don't forget to follow us as well at GPL. We've got the Americas Conference 6 Max matches coming up for you later as well. Obviously, every single Tuesday, it's the same kind of process. We have 2 Eurasian matches for 6 Max, followed by 2 Americas matches for 6 Max as well. Then on Wednesdays, we have the heads-up matches. And then on Thursdays, we have the Americas heads-up matches as well. There you go. So that's what's coming up next at 1:40 p.m. Eastern time. It's the next 6 Max match. It's pretty much the same, except one change from manager Selena Lim there of the Hong Kong Stars. So as we mentioned, Guo Dong will be playing this match instead of Bryan Huang. But do you think that's going to be a benefit, swapping a player right now?
Hey, it worked last time. Raiden Khan swept the board last time, so I think it is a strategy that Selena will employ as long as it works. Guo Dong, who spends a lot of time in Vancouver as well, so a double nation participant. We saw some great players there, and again, 5 of them return. I think Vladimir Troyanovskiy and Justin Bonomo will not be satisfied with their first position.
No.
Be weary, because I think they're going to come out guns a-blazing, both of them.
I hope so. We want to see that, don't we?
Should be fun.
We spoke to Selena Lin earlier on as well via Skype, hoping to get her back at some point because she was adored in the Twitch chat. I was a bit jealous.
What a shocker that Selena would be adored. Speaking of adored, Dominik Nitsche, let's give him some love as well. People just love
He was
Dominik.
great, yeah.
Just a tremendous ambassador.